Okay, I wanted to show you about shading in the eyes next. So remember to use your tissue, okay, to not smudge on top of the areas that you've shaded. I'm going to tilt my picture here a little bit and tilt my camera. It'll be easier for me to draw at an angle. Okay, now looking at the eyes, this original print, it's pretty flat to me. Like there should be some shading along here to make this, literally, this is an eyeball. It is a round sphere inside of that eye socket. Okay, so I'm going to increase the 3D shape of that eye, even though I can't see it in the photograph. Okay, so here's the eye. It has a tear duct right here because this is where the, literally, like there's an eye ball right behind a circle. Okay, so I have to think I'm really shading that in. And my iris and my pupil. And I can't see the iris and the pupil, just a smidge in the print, but I'm going to increase that. The other thing that I want to do is make sure I draw the highlights first of all. So these highlights seem to go across. Here, I'll put this right here. They seem to go across, kind of across in this shape with a little bit down. So you can always change the highlights too. You don't have to draw them exactly as you see them, but they have to appear the same in both eyes, in the same place and same shape. Okay? All right. This went right over my pupil. That's okay. All right. Next thing I do is I color in the pupil. The pupil is always black because this is literally a hole where light can get through. The iris is the colored part, whether it's brown or green or blue or gray, hazel. Okay, so I'm going to color in the pupil first. Then when I start shading in the iris, I'm going to shade with lines that all radiate from that center of the pupil. So all these lines that start here and they go out, start here and they go out, just like the rays of a sun. And I'm not going to color it in really, really dark yet. I'm just going to start off light. Remember, always start off light because you can increase your value, but it's hard to get it back. Okay? And then the next thing I'm going to do, which is always absolutely the darkest area, is right along the top of this eyelid, right here. That is in shadow. You're trying to make this part of the eye sit behind the eyelid. Okay, so there's going to be a really dark line right there. And I blend in that dark line with my pupil from the top, and then it gets lighter as it goes down towards the bottom of the eye. So it's dark at the top, and then it gets lighter towards the bottom, just like that. Okay, so the bottom remains a lighter value than even what I see in my printed photograph, right? Like this photograph really compressed the values so that whatever light I could see is now darkened. But in order to add a liveliness to the eye, or a lifelike look to the eye, you're going to start off dark at the top and then get lighter towards the bottom. Sometimes you'll look in this eye, and you can see the lines. Okay. And the other thing is it's going to have a dark ring just around the edge of this iris. Okay. So there I've done that center part. Now I'm going to shade the top right under here where the eyelid is down just a little bit. Okay, so from the top down just a little bit, because remember there's a shadow there, and then the corners of the eye. So it's going to be shaded right here, right at this corner, and right at the other corner. And I can also see this eye has, you can see this edge of the skin right there. Okay. And this edge actually in the photograph is like shaded in a bit. And then the tear duct is shaded in. Sometimes you see their tear duct, sometimes you don't. So you just have to look at, the eye. Okay, and then I'm going to use my little stump here to blend that all in so it doesn't look as scratchy. The other thing you have to be careful about is not shading in the whole eye. That is great. Like keep this white area pretty white right along there. Okay, so that it starts to look really 3D. Okay, and I haven't even done the eyelid yet. So the eyelid is shaded the way this one is it's darker here, it's lighter in the middle, and it actually goes down. There's a crease on his eye, so this part of the skin actually folds back behind this section, so this overlaps this part. I'll blend this in. I'm kind of cross hatching right now. Remember how we talked about like different types of shading, and sometimes you cross hatch, sometimes you just use pencil only, sometimes you use the stump to blend in that. Okay, so use all different kinds of methods. The only method style of using is we're not stippling, we're not using the dots anymore, but the other ones we can use. So cross hatching, hatching means all the lines go in the same direction, kind of what I'm doing right now. And then cross hatching would be as I go back and then kind of crisscross on top. Sometimes I find that easier to shade in and then blend it out rather than me doing the regular shading style. The regular shading style would be where I take my pencil, I leave it on the paper, not lifting up. Okay, and I increase the value to make darker values by just pressure. Okay, so I'm getting in the eyelid right now, and I'll probably keep working on it and fixing it. Okay, and then below his eyelid, he has like a little lines. This is all shaded in. I don't want to make those lines too dark, like these lines. They're kind of like, I wouldn't call them wrinkles, but they are wrinkles. But don't make them too dark, because if you make them too dark, it'll make them look old, and it's not old. So kind of have to soften those out a bit. Okay. And the last thing is the eyelashes. So once you have the eye done and you're pretty happy with it, I'm going to work on a little bit more, but I'm going to show you in this video the eyelashes, is that the eyelashes curve up and away from the eye on the top, and they curve down on the bottom, but you don't want to make them too like even, and you don't want to make them too mini, and you don't want to make them too thick. Okay, so what I do is I put my pencil down, I sort of flick up, okay, like this, like down and flick up. So you get a kind of natural eyelashes. I don't want to make them really too thick. On maybe on someone like a maybe like a movie star or like a celebrity or something, and they're wearing mascara, it will be a lot thicker and a lot more even. Or if they have fake eyelashes, for sure. Okay, and I just kind of want to add in the eyelashes because he does have eyelashes, of course, but I don't want to make them too thick and luscious, right? Because he doesn't have those. So okay, so that's how we're going to start shading in the eye.